Hi, everyone. I'm Dimitrios Zaharakis. I'm the CEO owner of BlackBox Comics. We have a website, blackboxcomics.net. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Appreciate you doing this, man. It's been a long time coming for us to do this interview.
Thanks, man. And I appreciate you having me. It's nice to get to do this.
Yeah, man. When did you start BlackBox Comics?
Well, this March coming will be our 8th year anniversary. So I started a little bit before that because I was trying to get a feel for the industry and how everything works. And, I spoke to a lot of people who had experience within the industry, even people that didn't have that much experience, but, just the communication of back and forth, you learn a little bit here and there from everybody. And, there was a lot of people who were very helpful and gracious to discuss things. And I'm glad they did because, this is where I'm at. 8 years later, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
So you jumped in this feet first, right?
Yeah, our first title was called IT. So IT is basically about an IT guy in banking, and is like uncovering corruption, and there's some humor in it. There's good guys and bad guys. It's kind of like a regular working office environment, but obviously you do things to bring a lot of fun and energy to comics. So you got to bring the entertainment. So we did that as the first title. And I was pretty lucky because I had a lot of people that have been in the industry for a while that worked on that book. Like we had Scott McDaniel, Andy Owens, Taylor Esposito. They all worked for like DC Comics, Marvel Comics. So for me, that helped make things a lot easier. My first, experience being an editor, helping, just setting everything up, marketing it, everything. So I learned from them. Hopefully they also learned some stuff because, like Scott, like that was his chance to like also kind of like be heavily involved in the beginning of a new title, the beginning of a new company, So I think we all got a little bit of experience, which was a lot of fun.
So do you kickstart the book to cover printing and stuff, then go to Diamond?
I've done a few Kickstarters, but I don't focus on that. That I don't typically use that to launch a title. The only one I think we did do that for was Biggs and Tiny. That was the only title I believe we did a #1 issue. And then the other Kickstarters that we did were all trade paperbacks. So it was after the fact, right? Like after the 5 issues came out, then we did the trade, and we did a different cover for the trade on Kickstarter.
And you don't take submissions, right?
No, because everything that I create are like my concepts. Obviously, all the other creators help me create everything as well, so they deserve all tremendous credit as well. But no, I mean, it's just that I'm focusing on my stuff. I just don't have a lot of time to add other stuff. If I did, I would. But I do have one title that I did publish for someone. That's not mine. It's called Shinokage. It's like a journey of samurai warrior. And it was really, really well done. Story's great. Art is excellent. So I was glad I did that. But, it takes up a lot of your time because if you're going to do something for someone, I want to make sure I am fully invested and I have the time for it because I want to market it right for them. You want to push the book as hard as you can. You don't want to just publish something and take people's percentages and, not care. I have relationships with these people. They're planning to do other books with me. So we'll see. We're gonna, probably try to continue if we could expand further. But for now, I'm working on 15, 16 of my own concepts. So that's pretty busy for me.
Yeah, I could imagine that could get really messy very quick,
Yeah, I mean, you have to be pretty disciplined. You got to be ready to get up every day and just start knocking everything out and have something that you're going to accomplish every day. And, whatever you're planning to get out first, make that the priority. Make sure it's ready. So I typically I typically try to finish the whole series, everything before I even put one book out. Because I would hate to put out a book and then say, oh, the next issue's not ready. It might take 6 months or a year, or, so we want everybody to get everything that they're buying and supporting from us, and they deserve that. You know what I mean? They deserve to get everything on time. So
It's funny you said that, because Marvel's starting to do that. They'll put out issue 1 to 4 out of like a 5-part series, and they'll wait 3 to 4 months for issue 5. It's ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, they have a little bit more leverage than us to do things like that. They can get away with it. But you have to be loyal to your customers, and I feel like that's not overall a good business strategy, because people will get annoyed and people will be giving up on those titles at some point if you keep doing it. So I mean, but things do happen. I mean, it's business, and things happen. People get sick. Other things might come up. Something for yourself might come up, and you don't publish it. So I understand that things happen. So you just got to do your best, though, to put everything out and be fair to the fans that are supporting you.
What can we expect to see from you in 25? Is there anything ready that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of things ready. So 2025 will be pretty interesting, I think, because we're going to have a mixture of titles coming back for Volume 2, possibly even a Volume 3. And then we have a bunch of new titles. So, like, some of the new titles, we have Dan Chichester. I don't know if you know him. DG, he's known as. So Dan wrote Fall from Grace storyline for Daredevil. He did the Daredevil Batman crossover. I believe he did Midnight Suns. So he's been working for Marvel probably 25 years, maybe 30. A little bit on and off. I think he had a break in between somewhere, but he's a really good writer. He's been around for a while. There was a recent Daredevil run called Black Armor. I don't know if you know that one. So Dan wrote that one. So that was good too. And he's writing a title for us called Risk. So that'll be one of the next new titles that comes out for us. It's a female lead, and I don't want to give away too much, but she's a bookie, and she's pretty badass. So you'll be seeing that, and we have some really good artists. Mannix Francisco's on that. I have Leo McGovern. He's going to be the letterer. And then I have another title with Dan that'll come out after that. I don't have an official title, and I don't want to spoil it anyway, because it is way too early for that, but it will come out right after that run. And then we have Rodney Buscemi, who's on that, who's an excellent artist. He worked for Marvel. So you'll see that. I think people are going to really enjoy that.
What social medias are you on nowadays?
We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We're not really utilizing YouTube yet as interview or doing like other kind of stuff, but I mostly have it focused just basically on like trailers. So we try to put out a trailer for the first issue of every series, or if it's a trailer from like the Kickstarter where it's showing like some images of each issue, basically. And I like it because it gives people an idea of what the art looks like inside. And you'll see in the trailers, like, first of all, the trailers I think are pretty good quality. But they're definitely good enough to at least show you what the book is about, kind of get an idea, and that you see that the art is good. You know what I mean? And I know we all love art. That's why we love comics. But we also want good stories. And when you read the stories, you'll see that they're going to keep you interested.
What advice would you give to new creators out there?
New creators. More from just creating a comic book or towards a publishing company? You're just talking comic book, right? I would say just focus on the quality. Don't rush it, because once you put it out, it's out and it's done. You're not going to go back to change stuff. You really want to just take your time and put out your absolute best work. Even if it takes longer, it's okay. It's not a race. If you put out a book this month or 3 months from now, that's not going to matter to anybody. As long as the quality is there, in terms of art, coloring obviously is extremely important. Letters are very important. People really underestimate that. But I think we're moving more and more towards a point where people are understanding how important that is. So I'm glad people are getting a little bit more experience and people are being more vocal about that.
Do you know which cons you're going to be at next year?
I haven't solidified any yet. Most likely I will be at Terrificon. I try to do that show almost every year. That's the one in Connecticut. What else? That's Mohegan Sun, Connecticut. The other one is Heroes Con, which I also like. It's out in Charlotte, North Carolina. Those are like two of my favorite shows. Hershey Con we usually do out in PA. Joe, he runs Hershey Comic Con and Mannheim Comic Con. Joe's really nice guy, really cool guy, easy to like talk to. So I always do his shows. I can't think. I have like C2E2 in mind and WonderCon. Like I want to hit some of the bigger shows if I can make time for that next year. Trying to schedule like vacation family plans and all that kind of stuff could get in the way. There's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to expand and do some other shows that I haven't done yet. Maybe something like out in Texas. I haven't done a show there yet.
Have you done New York, San Diego?
I've done New York. I've done San Diego. I've done C2E2. I haven't done any of the big ones in Florida yet, so I'd like to do one of those. I think there's one in Kansas City that's a nice sized one. I did do Monster Mania, which was pretty cool. So it's like a horror con, right? Like, and that was cool. We did really well there, and it was good because I felt like we got to reach a little bit of a new audience with that. So I don't mind those kind of shows. I mean, I'd like to do an anime con. We haven't done that yet.
Ooh.
So just to expand, because we have a couple of books that could kind of fall towards that anime kind of style. It's like we have Djinn Hunter. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
So that's got that. We have Biggs and Tiny, which got a little bit of it. I guess Shinokagi, some people like consider that like an anime style. I think Biomex, that was like the new book we just put out. So that was pretty much more focused for a younger audience because everything that comes out today, a lot of the times is for an older audience, right? Like that is pretty much where the market is for the most part. But for us, we're trying to see if we could expand and have something for everybody. And that's the goal. Like everything I'm doing is like I'm trying to be very different with each title. Of course, there's going to be some overlap with genres and things like that. It's going to happen when you put out so many. But I was glad we had Biomex because, like, you might have a father or a mother come and buy a book, and you want to have something for their kid when they come to your booth, for example, right? So, I mean, that's good to get everybody into it, This way they could enjoy it as a family, too,
I was just about to say that. It'd be a great bonding experience for parents and kids.
Yeah, it is. And to be honest, Biomex adults can also enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's not such a kiddie book that where adults can't enjoy it. So if you were a fan of Transformers back in the day, Robotech, Voltron, Mega Man, all these kind of things, like you'll vibe with this. You're gonna like it.
Dead or alive, who would be your dream team to make a comic book with?
Ooh. Artists always like Frank Brunner. Frank Brunner is a really cool. I don't think he has a tremendous amount of work in terms of like if you're looking at it just like Marvel or DC or whatever, but he's done some really amazing stuff. I had done some commissions with him back in the day, and they're amazing. They're just stunning pieces of art. He did a lot of like those magazine type. It was like comics, right? It was like graphic magazines, basically. Like he did a lot of those. But I know he worked on like Man Thing. I think Howard the Duck. I believe Red Sonja for a bit. Yeah, he's just a really good artist. That'd be cool to get him. But I think he's retired now, so I think that's out of the question. Writer, I don't know. There's so many good out there, man. I don't know. I don't know if I could pick a writer. Writer's tough. Writer's really tough. there's so many that I like out there. Colorist letterers, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of them that are great, but I'm also extremely happy with the ones that I've gotten to work with. Like I have Desi Sand. He's my main lettering person. Like he's excellent. Taylor Esposito, as I mentioned, he did the first title.
Mhm.
Excellent. Leo McGovern is doing Deadly Trails. He did, and now he's working on Risk. He's excellent. So like, I have no like regrets with any of these people. It just worked out so good.
Out of everybody I asked this year, I think you're either the third or fourth that says the team that you got right now. I think that's so kick ass.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I've already went after who I've wanted to go after and work with, and obviously there's more. I mean, there's just so much talent out there. Like we're lucky that we have such an abundance of talent and people you want to work with. I like to try to get some of the old school people to work with because you want to catch everybody in time before they retire, right? So that's something I'd like to do. Like we had Ron Friends, he did a cover for us. Trying to remember who else. Like Greg LaRock, he just did a cover for us on Deadly Trails, which was awesome. So it's cool, man. I get to work with like the old school, but a lot of the amazing new talent coming up that deserves all the credit in the world for the work that they're doing.
Is there any comic creators or indie comic creators that you know of right now we should be watching out for in 2025?
New creators. I mean, I have so many. It's like I hate to pick. There's people like we got like Dream Master. I'm wearing the shirt, so we have like a volume 2 coming out of that. The artist on that is insanely good, insanely detailed. Works really hard. The whole team is amazing. And like we got Ruben Curto, he's a colorist. Jonathan Hendricks, the writer. We had DC Hopkins as the letterer on volume 1. Trying to think what else we got. I'm working on. I finished actually a volume 2 of Empath. Empath 1 came out already. Volume 2, we finished it recently, and now we started volume 3. So I might even finish volume 3 before volume 2 even comes out. But Devil's Dominion volume 2 just came out, issue 6, and I believe 7 might have come out this past Wednesday, I think. So you'll see like Umberto Giampa's the artist on that. He worked on Dr. Wilder for us. He's an excellent artist, and he gets the job done on time. And you need people like that, that you could work with, that you can make recommendations to make edits. You don't need drama. Luckily I've been able to do that with almost everybody. I mean, it's like just lucky to be able to do that. That's just such a smooth way to work.
I agree. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, I mean, I just appreciate, the interview, having me on, and hopefully everybody could check us out. Like I said, we have 16 titles. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on Comicology if you guys prefer digital. But I do always prefer that everybody go comic shops and buy from their comic shops. I love supporting them. I have very good relations with a lot of them. So I'm hoping everybody's a better 2025 for everyone.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it, man.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comic Chat Authority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.